I'm Angelisa Sugianto, and today I'm going to present a case for MLC101, and I'm going to talk about Goldsbrook-Mort & Co. Ltd. versus Queen in 1910 with the case 10 CLR 647. Let's start with the key facts in this case, which revolves around an offer made by Queen to Goldsbrook-Mort. Queen, the defendant, owned a piece of land and wanted to sell it. Goldsbrook-Mort, the plaintiff, was interested in buying the land. So then Queen made an offer to sell the land to Goldsbrook-Mort for a specific amount. But here's the twist. Queen promised to keep the offer open for 1 week. In exchange for this promise, Goldsbrook-Mort agreed to pay 5 shillings to Queen. Now, why would someone pay just to keep an offer open? Well, think of it like reserving something. Goldsbrook-Mort was paying Queen to ensure that there's no one else could buy the land during that period or during that 1 week, giving them time to think whether they want to go ahead with the purchase or cancel the purchase. In legal terms, this is called consideration, where the 5 shillings were the price for Queen's promise to keep the offer open. However, before the week was up, Queen tried to take back the offer by arguing that the offer was made by mistake, and they now wanted to sell the land to someone else. Goldsbrook-Mort, having paid the 5 shillings and still within the 1 week period, accepted the offer, but Queen attempt to revoke the offer led to a lawsuit for breach of contract. This case then made its way to court, starting with the Supreme Court of New South Wales, and then Goldsbrook-Mort lost in the Supreme Court of New South Wales. They didn't give up here and appealed to the High Court of Australia, which ultimately decided this matter. Now let's talk about the key legal principles that the court had to address in this case. First, the court examined the revocation of the offer, and the central issue was whether Queen had the right to revoke the offer after Goldsbrook-Mort had paid the 5 shillings to keep the offer open. The court ruled that once consideration had been given, Queen could not revoke the offer before the 1 week period is expired or end. This principle is vital because it creates certainty in commercial transactions. When a buyer pays for the right to keep an offer open, the seller is legally bound to honor that commitment. Second, the court also dealt with the issue of specific performance. Instead of just awarding monetary damages for the breach of contract, the High Court ordered Queen to transfer the land to Goldsbrook-Mort. So this specific performance is a remedy where the court orders the party in breach to fulfill their promise. In this case, to transfer the land to Goldsbrook-Mort. This remedy is typically used when damages alone wouldn't fully satisfy the injured party's expectations, such in this case is the piece of land. Finally, the court reinforced the importance of consideration in forming binding contracts. The payment of 5 shillings was considered sufficient consideration to make the agreement binding, meaning Queen could not back out without consequences. And the court's decision highlighted the necessity of honoring agreements when consideration is exchanged. And for me, I agree with the court's ruling for several reasons, and here's the reason. First, this case promotes the importance of honoring contractual obligations. Here, when Goldsbrook-Mort paid the 5 shillings, they provided consideration, which is a fundamental element in contract law. By paying the money, Goldsbrook-Mort entered into a binding agreement with Queen, which Queen had no right to revoke without consequences. Upholding this decision sends a strong message that contracts should be respected. Second, the ruling promotes fairness in commercial transactions. If sellers could easily revoke the offer after receiving consideration, it would create uncertainty and undermine trust in business deals. Buyers would be reluctant to pay for an option to keep an offer open if they thought there was a risk that the seller could simply just change their mind. By affirming that Queen could not revoke this offer, the court protected Goldsbrook-Mort's legitimate expectation that Queen would honor the terms. The third reason is that the decision prevents unjust enrichment. If Queen had been allowed to keep the 5 shillings and sell the land to someone else, it would have been unfair for Goldsbrook-Mort. Queen have benefited from their wrongdoings, profiting from the payment without keeping the promise. And yeah, it would just be unfair for Goldsbrook-Mort. The court's ruling here ensures that no party cannot take advantage of the other by breaking an agreement after receiving the payment. And last reason, this decision provides much needed clarity and legal precedent. The case sets a clear rule that when an offer is made by consideration to keep it open, it cannot be revoked before the specified period ends. This clarity helps future parties in similar situations, if it's happen again in the future, to understand that their rights and responsibilities, creating a more predictable and stable legal environment. In conclusion, the court's decision was not only legally sound, but it also upholds the principles of fairness and contractual integrity, which are crucial in maintaining trust and reliability in business transactions. So that's all from me. Thank you for listening my video.